Hi everyone. In this topic, I will talk about some new features enabled for Oracle Cloud 25P. P means quarter 2. 25 is quarter 2 in 2025. As you know, every quarter there are some features, some bugs resolved, some features enabled. You just need to check with your organizations if there any requirement or if you need to enable these features or not. This is regarding to the new features. Related to the bugs, also you have to check if there any bugs already have been resolved or not. So just by quarter, around 4 times per year, you have to follow up these features. You have to read it, you have to test it, then you have to just tell your business users, stakeholders, whatever managers, give them overview or summary about these updates and features. In case of they asked you to enable or whatever, you already tested and tested it in demo instance, and you already be ready to show them. After that, you can deploy it in production. For any new features or whatever, just you have to read it very well. You have to check the prerequisite setups. You have to check what is the business case. You have to check if there any rule needs to assign to your user, or you have to custom the rule. If there any lookup profile options. All of this is covered in Oracle or docs.oracle.com related to what is new. If we start first feature here, that payable invoice processing, as you see here, that list of values, tax accounting attributes in payables ADFDI, which is application desktop file sheet for spreadsheets. This list of values of tax now is applicable like a list of values. If you remember this before, like a text, so you have to know the specific tax classification code defined in your system to take it copy or whatever to mention the same name in your spreadsheet. But now it's applicable to be a list of value, so it will be first of thing here. Create invoice will be more efficiently with payable ADFDI spreadsheet by making use list of values. These features increases accuracy of tax count information while creating invoices from spreadsheet. These are the 10 attributes in payables ADFDI spreadsheet where customers now can make use of list of values functionalities. As you see here, first party, supplier tax registration number, tax classification code, transaction business category, product, transaction tax rate, withholding, product, and intended use. Business benefits, create manual payable invoice more efficiently by selecting tax accounting attribute from LOV, list of value. Reduce incorrect or missing entries. Increase invoicing efficiency, because before I copy name or the wrong name or tax classification code is wrong, now it's list of value. Steps to enable, you don't need to do anything to enable this feature. Just if I need to show you, for example, that now I am logging here as Oracle. Just I need to navigate to payables, invoices. I just need to download this spreadsheet from here. I need to create invoice from spreadsheet. Just show you the features. Open the file. Maybe the system needs credentials. So let's check. Yes, so I will enter fine imp login. Spreadsheet will create, processing, data download, and just if I need to go to write tax classification code, for example, if I need double click, you will find it as a list of value. Just search, it will give you all of the tax classification code. For example, if I need, just come here, right click, unhide. Now unhidden columns shown, just go to right, just tax. Is there any product physical classification? Also just double click. If you defined any product physical classification, it must show here, which is mentioned in our sheet. Product physical classification, tax classification code. The rest of these attributes will be the same as list of value. This is the first feature here. What is the second one? Is PO matched invoice edits on edit invoice UI. UI means user interface, but this is for only ISP, I supplier portal. Enable payable users to edit PO matched supplier invoices in the edit invoice user interface when viewing invoice details. Payable users with the required privilege can do what? Change the invoice number, cancel existing line invoice, add new line, item freight miscellaneous, whatever. Edit invoice amount as needed after making changes. Modify tax classification which updates the invoice amount. These features enhance invoice processing, as you know that once you received or the supplier create the invoice through iSuppliers, after you received as a payable supervisor, payable user, whatever, you have still some updates. You can do it, either invoice number, add new lines, cancel the existing line, edit invoice amount, modify tax classifications, which will update the invoice amount. So no need like before, cancel the invoice, please contact the supplier to recreate the invoice from the scratch one more time, to update the invoice number, to update invoice amount, tax classification, blah blah blah. So now it's resolved. For again, just directly edit invoice through user interface, and instead of canceling, you have to requesting resubmission again, just enabling correction to supplier data entries. It helps maintains original invoice number and so on. Steps to enable: you don't need to do anything to enable these features. Access requirement: new privilege is AP_payables_edit_PO_invoice_priv is created and assigned to the existing job role accounts payable manager. It's by default this privilege added to this rule by default by Oracle. In case of you need to check the iSupplier, I already created two videos before related to iSupplier, how to create username and password for external suppliers, and how the suppliers log into Oracle and create PO and send the invoice. You can see it through these two videos, and after that you can try to change whatever amount, number, cancel the line, add a new line, and so on. And also I just need to mention one point here, how to know the new version. Just click on your username. There is one about this application. This is the version. Next quarter it must be 25C. Fourth quarter will be 25D. In some cases your organizations, whatever DBA, technical, blah blah blah, needs to contact Oracle to ask them for the updates or for the new version. Or now we currently in 25P. P means second quarter in 2025. In case of you found that your application is still 25A, which is the first quarter of 2025, so in this case you have to contact your stakeholders, application developer, whatever, to raise SR whatever with Oracle to ask them to update your version. In case of, again, your version is still 25A, please don't follow or don't see this video, because this video for 25B only. What else we have? Manual creation and application of prepayment invoice. Prepayment here in invoice for AR. Currently, you can create a prepayment manual direct as a transaction type in account receivables. Use create and edit transactions to manually create and apply prepayment invoice against sales invoice. Addition of manual creation, application of prepayment, like whatever you do it in payables, you will do the same in account receivables. These are the new features. I think it's good features for account receivables. Enable you to create prepayment, like advance payment, which you will receive from your customers in AR, accounts receivable. So when prepayment invoice is applied to the sales invoice, outstanding balance of sales invoice is either reduced or settled by the applied amount. Original accounting and the tax entries of the prepayment invoice are reversed. Business benefits: manual creation application prepayment lines to sales invoice would enhance user productivity and efficiency while handling small number of prepayment. Steps to enable: there are a lot of things. Before, you have to complete what? Create prepayment receivable activity, set up prepayment transaction type, access requirement, account receivable manager, account receivable specialist, billing manager segregated rule, billing specialist segregated rule. So to enable it, just I need to navigate to the Oracle. Where is the Oracle? Okay, just navigate to setup and maintenance. Again, you have to check your version 25B. Setup and maintenance. Just receivable activity, manage receivable activities. Just I already defined a new one before, I just need to show you, or in case of I need to define a new one, just come here, enter whatever the business unit name, prepayment, and just once you select here the prepayment, just there are field here will be appear, just prepayment, it appearing here. Here there are three options: null, use any prepayment, use paid prepayment only. What is the difference? Null is null. Prepayment, use any prepayment, it means allow applications of eligible prepayment invoice lines against sales invoice. Use paid prepayment only means allows application of only fully paid prepayment invoice lines against sales invoice. Again, it depends on your requirement, whatever business user requirements, you have to do the same. After that, what is the GL activities? Enter the account where prepayment invoice distributions will be created. It's like any receivable activities before you created. This is the same for related to this activity. This is the first step. After that, you have to define transaction type. Create payable, receivable, transaction type. Just I need billing transaction types. I already also define a new one. Progress or what? Progress US. And this one, I think. Just search. Here, as you see here, a prepayment type. Just select name, legal entity, destination, descriptions. Here, transaction class. After that, there is transaction subclass. In this transaction subclass, you have to mention what? Prepayment. So it's like any normal transaction type. Again, your version must be 25p. Come to transaction type, enter everything, but don't forget to mention in transaction subclass prepayment. Open positive, the same as you defined for any normal transaction type. Again, which business unit you will assign this with the required accounting combination. That's it for the transactions receivable activities. Now, in case of you need to go to transactions for receivables to create transactions, I just need to show you transactions peeling from receivables. Go to the tasks on the right, just create transactions. For create transactions, you have to select first, for example, it's a prepayment, right? Manual, what is the business unit? Which is you define the prepayment for this, and the transaction type here you have to select what? A prepayment, because we defined it before, right? Prepayment invoice. Once you select prepayment, one line only. Later we will talk about the tips and some important notes about this. After that, you have to select customers, like any invoice. Ship to, bill to, payment term, whatever. What is the description? What is the memo line? Just test prepayment. What is the quantity? 100. So this is the numbers. Just save, just try to complete and review. Here 10,000. Today is creation date. Type, don't forget prepayment. Once you select prepayment, it just allow you to enter one line. Just I need to complete and review. Now in complete. After that, it will be complete. After that, you have to go to, for example, create the standard invoice, create transactions, and again select the same progress. It will be the same manual invoice, ABC, application, the same customer, everything the same. Just enter the memo line, again test, apply prepayment. What is the quantity? 100. The same or less than. For example, we did or created prepayment with 10,000. So the standard invoice must be 10,000 or more than. Or in case of you create standard invoice with more than amount of the prepayment, so in this case you will apply, for example, 50% of this total amount to the prepayment, and the other you will create receipts, miscellaneous receipts, whatever. So in this case, miscellaneous receipts, sorry, you cannot, because it's direct between the bank and receivable activities, but receipts. So here 10,000. So you will notice what? Apply prepayment. Before saving, before complete, you have, once you enter the memo line, whatever 1 or 10 or whatever, just go to apply prepayment and select the prepayment invoice number, dates, whatever. I will select the date, search, and I will apply. Before apply, the same what you face in payables, the same you will face here in receivables. System asks you what is the application amount. So in this case, you either here 10,000, here 10,000, either you need to apply 5,000, whatever, or the total amount. Once you add, the system will create a new line in negative, just like tried it, add none. Here the system created as in negative, which is description of our prepayment invoice here in negative, so the total becomes 0. Before saving the invoice, you have to apply prepayment. Once you saved before applying, this will be dimmed. In this case you have to delete and again recreate it from scratch. This is the prepayment in receivables. In case of you face issue regarding create accounting or whatever, just mention in the description of these videos and I will show you how to resolve. Is it possible to apply prepayment to credit memo if the prepayment sign is negative or whatever? I think you can do it, but again you have to try. What else we have? Before, as I told you, tips, considerations. Prepayment invoice can have only one line. Prepayment and sales invoice creation application is only supported in ledger currency. Foreign currency not supported. Manual created prepayment invoice can be applied to sales invoice of the same customer, transaction source, business unit, currency. There is no related relationship customers. Manual created prepayment invoice cannot be applied to sales invoice sourced from upstream system if you have upstream system. Sum of prepayment application amount cannot exceed sales invoice line amount. Prepayment application amount entered in apply prepayment window must be more than 0 and less than or the same what prepayment balance amount. Other transactions activities including disputes, adjustment, prepayment invoice and sales invoice with prepayment line are not supported using SOP or REST API service. I think before these versions, prepayment you can apply or uploading through payload. It's like APIs or whatever. You can only credit fully prepayment invoice or sales invoice with prepayment application lines. Partially credits are not supported. So here, foreign currency not supported, partial credits are not supported, relationship customers are not supported for prepayment. You must credit sales invoice with prepayment application before crediting prepayment invoice. Over application on prepayment lines or prepayment application lines also not supported. So how many features is not supported in prepayment? You have to read this very well. Differing revenue recognition using revenue recognition invoicing rule is again not supported. Manual created prepayment invoice can only be applied during creation of sales invoice. After sales invoice is saved or completed, apply prepayment options becomes unavailable. All of these notes I show you and I told you. So before you start to set up and whatever, you have to read this. You have to check what is supported, what is not supported, because in case of you are to make a presentation to your business users, you will be appear like this, because maybe users ask you, what about the functional foreign currency? What about relationship customers? What about revenue recognitions? What about APIs if I have a huge prepayment, for example? So you have to be aware of this. It will be a good or a useful notes for you and for users also. What else we have? Another very important features, asset transfer to another book. Asset transfer to another book. Transfer assets from one book to another book within the same ledger. In case of you have one ledger and you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 n numbers of books under the same ledgers, you can now transfer assets between these books which is under the same ledger. I think it's very good features also, which is enabled in 25p. Descriptive depreciation details are moved to the newly transferred assets automatically for continuity and audit. This feature enables you to seamlessly transfer fixed assets from one entity, location, one employee to another across different assets books under the same or within the same ledger. Both originating, sourcing, and receiving destination books must be part of the same ledger. Valuation, depreciation rules, other specific of the destination assets are governed by transaction rule specified. Audit trail helps user to track, query, affiliate party details for both source destination assets. Source books generates independently balanced accounting entries to close out assets balance. Destination book creates separate set of balance entries to initiate opening balances. This process automates recording of intercompany entries for transfers, involving different balance segment values, eliminating the needs for manual general ledger entries. By doing so, it reduced burden of manually reconciling these entries on Oracle assets. As you know, before these features, you have to retirement the assets in asset book A and transfer create accounting. After that, you have to add it manually or whatever's in the asset book B. Now, no need to do these cycles. You can transfer between books without any issues. Before going to show you the setup and the cycles, tips, considerations. To continue with source assets lives depreciation rules, don't select inherit depreciation rules of depreciation category. During you make the transfer, you will find option like this. In case of you need to continue with the source assets life depreciation, don't select this. And also use transfer dates as the date place in service options on transfer assets to the another book. Transfer process needs to be executed individually in each of the tax books. Mass copy feature is not applicable. Again, if you have, as you know, we have two types of book: corporate book, tax book. In case of in your organization you have a tax books, these options it will or mass copy will not supported for this feature. If source corporate book has higher number of tax books than the destination, you must manually retire asset for tax books without corresponding destination book. They can be done using standard retirement features, and when the destination has tax books without a source match, an assets addition is required in these books. If the number of reporting currency books isn't the same in the source and destination, use the NBV method of transfers. Also, there are 2 or 3, I don't know, numbers or types of transfers. We will see it later. In case of this case, you have to use this method. These features apply only to transaction performed using transfer assets to another book page. Volume-based book transfers aren't available in this release. Intercompany payables account, intercompany receivable accounts in managed asset book page can be populated using REST import and export services and cannot be entered using create or edit asset book page. As you know, these books or these accounts which will be generated must be populated through APIs. It will not be entered through user interface of edit asset books or create asset book. This feature is limited to capitalized assets, doesn't apply to group assets and their members and leased assets. Also take care of this point, it's just only for capitalized. What is the access requirement? Transfer fixed assets to another asset book, which is privilege, new privilege. In this also there are new data access security policy transfer assets to another books, which dedicates the books assets can be transferred to. Data resource of this policy is fixed asset book. Configurable SLA rules and mapping sets allow for fully customizable accounting rules. CD journal line rule set for book transfers event class. Use book controls receivables account for intercompany, and the same for payables for intercompany, payables for destinations, and receivable for source. because it's like intercompany transactions. It's like a bank transfer between two banks or whatever's under the same ledger or different ledgers. By the end, the accounting entries will be one, for example, organization pay, the other organization is received. So one is receivables intercompany, the other is payables intercompany payables. Intercompany segment isn't populated as a part of standard journals. It's fully customizable using SLA source, book, balance segment for primary, secondary, and whatever's, and country party cost center. Note, intercompany balancing payables and receivables account in the managed assets book can be populating again using REST import and export services. So just I need to show you how to enable this. Cancel, go to setup and maintenance. First of thing is change feature opt-in for financial. Click on it. Select the fixed assets. There is one new options under 25p. You have to enable these features first. After that, you have to go to complete the prerequisite setups. Take some time. This is the opt-in features. Just select fixed assets, go to features, and you will find fixed asset transfer between asset books. You have to enable this option. After that, just go to your two assets books, which is within the same ledger, to enable the allow transfer assets to other book. But before to enable these checkbox for the asset books, you have to, once you enable this, log out from the systems and again relog in one more time, then go to manage assets books to check this new checkbox which will be display. Just asset manage asset books. I already enabled it for one progress US and the other progress USP. This is first asset book, this second asset book, which is under the same or within the same ledger. Just select it, search, and try to edit corporate tax book, not corporate book class, not tax. Just edit. You will find on the right side allow transfer to another book. These features before this version you will not find these checkbox. Okay, again you have to do the same for the second asset book, because now you are going to transfer between two asset book within the same ledger. I select again also the other and edit. This is corporate asset book. Again allow transfer, enable this option. After that, just try to make your transfers. Just go to assets to start to make your transfer. Billing, sorry, fixed assets. Assets, just asset transfer on the right, transfer asset. Here the system asks you that there is one, for example, assets in under asset book progress, and I need to transfer it to under progress USB. Just I need to search categories, advanced, where is it? Doesn't equal for example this search. I think it's furniture and office. Again, this one I need to transfer. Once I click it, I need to what? You will find a new option, transfer asset to another book. Just click on it. The system will ask you what is the destination, the other book, which is under the same ledgers. What is the transfer type? I told you there are two types. Growth method means the asset transfer is recorded as transfer out transactions in the source book and unique transfer in addition in the destination book. Again, two books means one book is source, one book is destination. If you select growth method means this assets transfer is recorded as transferred out transaction in the source book and unique transfer in for destination asset book. What about net book value method? Asset transfer is treated as related party sale. In this case, transfer is documented as a specific book transfer retirement transaction in source book and as a unique transfer in addition in destination asset book. Again, you have to know, to be aware between the difference between this transaction transfer type to know which type is with you. For example, growth or whatever. Cost basis, as you know, cost and reserve of the asset, source asset, not book value of the source assets, transfer amount. Cost and the reserve of the source assets, destination asset balances are initialized with the cost and the reserve amount of the source asset. Net book value of the source assets, destination assets cost is initialized with the net book value of the source assets. Depreciation reserve is initialized to be 0. Transfer amount, which is either transfer the amount from source to destination. Depreciation reserve for transferred assets is determined based on accumulated reserve balance from the period before the transfer period. When transferring assets, you can choose different assets category for the destination book. You can either keep depreciation rules from the source assets or opt off those of the destination book and the categories. The date placed in service for the new assets can be set as original assets dates placed in service or transfer date. You can backdate transfer date as long as it follows assets life or assets latest transactions. During transfer, you can conveniently copy source line details, descriptive flex field values, and assets key information. What is the tags, what is blah blah blah. You can inherit depreciation rules. You can use transfer assets, copy as we said before, freight amount in source currency, whatever. And this is expensive allocations. You can add also what is the allocations will be in the second book or destination book. Asset number in destination book must be unique, can be either generated by application or you can define it manually. Additionally, tag number should be distinct across all books. You can decide to retain tag number for either source or destination assets. Each tax book requires independent transfer process. Transfer isn't copied from corporate book. Reporting currency process or reporting currency balances are initialized automatically during the asset transfer. Their values are determined by reporting currency rates based or bases selected during transactions. Also, you can again record it during transfer additional charges, removal costs, freight, non-recoverables, and miscellaneous. All charges except removal costs are capitalized in destination assets and are included in intercompany receivable amount which the receiving entity owes. As expected, depreciation expense account, location, and employee information can be changed at the time of transfer to destination book. Also, for subledger accounting rule, configurable Oracle subledger rules and mapping set allow you to customize your accounting rule. A new predefined journal entry rule set is available for the assets transfer event class using natural account for intercompany receivables and payables transactions from the book controls of your source and destinations books. This is how transfers between two books. Before thank you, again you have to read these features very well. Also, there are a lot of other new features which is related to US 1099 electronic and form reporting. For example, lease approval history, lease approval workflow improvement, virtual card, if you enable for virtual card, payment for supplier invoices. Another also features related to email for open transactions to customers, manage payment configurations, tax and compliance for tax partners. A lot of features every quarters enabled. You have to read all of them very well. You have to make a small presentations to your business users to show them either it's matched with their requirement or not. If it's okay, you have to go ahead with the test and productions. In case of you face any issues related to these new features, just mention in the videos. Thanks for watching. Good luck.